Okay, I'm allowing everyone to talk. You guys can take your time and introduce yourself.
Hi Sandeep, this is Satya here. Uh, I have done certain course from IntelliPart before, uh,
Okay,
AI and all these things. Deep learning, a little bit machine learning. That was a couple of years ago. So I just saw your email that this session is going on. So I just was curious to join it. Nice to have such sessions going on. So I'm glad to be part of these sessions.
nice, nice, nice. Thank you, thank you. So you have done a certification course and
No, it's more of a exhaustive course I've done on machine learning and all that. So
mhm.
a lot of things in that. Data science, it's most of data science related, machine learning, a bit of deep learning.
Okay, okay,
That is sort of the background I have. But I am from a system background. I'm more of a like a service delivery roles which I am right now. So I was just checking, I was more AI is going on right now. So the world is going to take over by AI. The people who
mhm.
know AI can work better. So that is the reason we should be well versed with AI. So that is the reason for attending it.
Okay, okay. So what do you do if I miss, I guess?
Currently, I have taken a break, but I resigned as a manager consulting.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
So you're
want
trying to get into AI.
more would like to go into AI and cyber security, more of AI
All,
and cyber security, both you can say.
all right, all right. Nice, nice. Yeah, I think as AI is penetrating every web app these days, every software these days. So obviously the security is one point right now. It is very common to have bots attacking
Correct.
using AI to your apps.
Yeah.
So yeah, we also receive a lot of attacks which we are able to manage somehow. So,
Okay.
but yes, it's like a growing domain, I believe. And like considering that fact that now everyone is even building apps using the agents. There are a lot of agents available in the market which can build an apps for you. So obviously, security is one point which people are not yet explored that much in terms of it.
Yeah, we should be ready for an attack, right? Always prepared.
Yeah.
Because we are introducing a new technology there. Always we are bound to be attacked because those people are like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
want to do the things in a short way
Yeah.
and cause disruptions. So that is the reason.
Okay.
Anyway, AI and cybersecurity will be the future. So
Yeah. Obviously. So here also like in Terno, which we will be going to talk about today.
yeah,
So that was the first thing which came to mind. Okay, we are building something related to data science, data analytics, but how are we protecting the data from the
correct.
AI?
That is most important thing.
So that is what we have done at the very first commits of our project was related to the security.
Yeah.
Um, nice, nice, great to hear. Okay. So I think Gopal says unmute. You want to? Oh, it's Gopal's note taker. Yeah, a lot of note takers here. Anyone else? Arlyab, Ashwin, Jitendra, Keith, Mohammed, Nitin, Prasanta. So this discussion is basically going to be two ways. It's not like just a random webinar that we will be going to uh, Okay. I have to make it live on the YouTube. So I'll just do that first. Give me a moment. Kajindra, I'm not able to stream it. Can you do it? I think only host can do it. Or you can make me host.
So this Terno AI is something which we are going to discuss about, or is it something you people have your hand in developing that, or I just wanted to know.
Sorry, your hand is what?
No, what I'm asking is this Terno AI which you are talking about today,
Yeah.
which you will be discussing today. So just wanted to know you have any role in developing that, or we are just discussing about that part of the AI?
No, yeah. So we only developed that. We only
Okay,
developed that
okay, great.
as part of our project from CloudX Lab. So okay, I'll introduce. I'll starting with the introduction of ourselves then. Okay, so I am a software developer at
Mhm.
Terno AI and CloudX Lab. So Terno AI is a uh, CloudX Labs project, which is uh, new gen AI, which will basically give you uh, like it's a data scientist for you. Okay,
Mhm.
with the security shield in between. So we will discuss that in detail. But I am working as a software developer there, and I also take lead in the product. So I lead the product there, and from my team, like Sandeep Akode is here and Rohan Das is here. So I think you guys can take your time to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone. Hi. So I'm Sandeep Akode and I lead the technology here at Terno. Okay. So yeah, so me, Sachin and Sandeep and other teammates also, we built the first version of Terno AI initially. So at that time only we were focused on security because database is the most important thing for any organization. So the security was our prime focus there.
Hello everyone, I am Rohan Das and I work as a junior software developer here in Terno, and I worked upon some of the parts of Terno like semantic search and more of agentic things. So yeah, we are having this entire webinar on Terno only.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Rohan. And I think like if anyone wants to introduce themselves, like it would be great to hear about you guys also. What you guys do, like how did you hear about the event and all of those details. Mhm.
Sorry, Sachin, before anybody comes in, just one last
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Is it something like we have Julius or something which is data visualization tool? So
It
is
has
it
something.
we have a Julius tool, right? AI. Julius.
Jew is.
Julius. Julius.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have Julius data virtualization, already an AI tool. So is this something enhancement of that, or it's something got a new functionality altogether? And is it a free for certain features, or is it a paid one, or just wanted to know on that?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I would come to those details.
Okay.
So I did not check out Julius so far. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
But yeah. Right now I'm just checking it. So AI powered insights. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Hmm. I'll have to check like how it is different.
Okay. No, it is a data virtualization actually.
Hmm,
It'll
okay,
give you all the graphs and all this outliers, all this stuff.
okay, okay.
So yours is a full-fledged AI tool, right? Is it a full-fledged data science tool or?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, hmm. Okay, let's then start. I think not many people are there in the introduction. Hmm. So I'll just share my screen. All right. And you guys let me know if it is visible.
Not it.
Hmm. I hope the
Yes.
screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, as that title suggests that now everyone can be a data scientist. So what exactly that means? So in today's scenario, since the LLMs penetration in the market, right? So data was the one thing, and the conversation was the first thing which basically people started having with LLMs, right? That is, I think everyone has started with having a normal conversation and asking random questions to the LLMs related to the data or some information here and there about. So LLM got all of the data, right? But when it comes to the analytics, right? When it comes to the analytics of your own data, we have to reach out to a data analyst of our team. We have to reach out to data science of our team who has the knowledge about the data, who has the knowledge about the machine learning models, which can predict and everything, right? So that is what the traditional thing. But now, how you can be a data scientist without being a data scientist actually? So I'll just start with the introduction. So the speakers. So Sandeep is join has joined from the mobile today, and he won't be able to turn on his mic and camera today because I think he's got busy with some urgent meeting and is outside. So we will be taking ahead today's meeting. So Sandeep Akode is with us. Sandeep Akode, I think some new people have joined. So if you want to introduce yourself, take your time again. Was I audible? Akode, if you would like to take your time to introduce to the new people again, I think some new people have joined.
All right. Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Sandeep Akode and I lead the technology part of the Terno AI. Okay. So yeah, I think Sachin, we will go ahead with the introduction of Terno AI.
Okay, okay, okay. So about me, also like I'm a software developer here, and I lead the product at Terno AI. So that is about us. And so today's agenda would be like we would disclose what exactly is Terno AI, how exactly we are utilizing LLM agents to make it a data scientist. What is the architecture behind the Terno AI? How we are solving all of those problems? How we have actually built it to become or to act like a data scientist. And then we will have some demo of it. We will showcase you some queries, how to use it, and you guys can also try your hands on Terno AI. It is live. You just have to request the access. And in the reasoning, you can mention that you have come from the webinar so that that will expedite the process. So that is it about the agenda. So let's start with what exactly is Terno AI. All right. So Terno AI is your AI data scientist, very generic term. How exactly it is a Terno it is a data scientist? It can it can automate the whole process of your enterprise data. Not just enterprise data. If you have like your CSVs, you have your data in any form. As of now, let's say we are supporting all of the databases and CSVs, SQLite, etc. And in future, we are going to introduce different connection sources. For example, Google Analytics or any other CRM tools. As of now, in terms of the ERP and CRM tools, we have done it with the Odoo self-hosted. If you have your self-hosted Odoo ERP tool, you can just link your data source to the Terno AI. It can extract the data out of it, process it, analyze it, and visualize it, all of it. And also it can develop a model out of it. How it can do that, that we will get to know in the architecture of Terno AI, right? Now, it supports the domain specific algorithms and machine learning workflows. So it utilize machine learning. It writes the workflows according to your data, according to your needs, so that you can not only utilize Turno AI to analyze some of your data, ask very simple questions, but also do some predictive analysis, also do some projections. You can also train the model on your data over the time. It would The Terno AI would learn about your data, would also create a knowledge layer about your data, so that when let's say after few days your teammates would ask a question about the same data, it would respond like 10x better. It would respond 10x better. So we have introduced something called knowledge layer in between, and about the details we will get to know in the architecture of Turno AI. But it utilizes that layer to build a model specific only for your data, for your organization's data. And not only just a particular data source, you can have as many as data sources in your organization. Then you can easily share that result with your team. For example, let's say, so how this sharing and all of these data scientists, why we are naming it as data scientist, right? So the reason is that what earlier used to happen when we wanted some analysis, or let's say a CEO of a company wants to take a decision that should we launch this product or not, should we continue a particular offering or not, what was the projection of the last 4 quarters regarding a product, or let's say uh, 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 what were the sales numbers, it was profitable or not. Okay, how was the campaigns which we have done for the last Diwali sale or Holi sale, whatever it was, right? So what used to happen that to take a decision, a CEO or like say any director level executive level professional used to ask their team members, and then that team used to go to a tech team person, specifically either a data analyst or an engineer or whatever, depending on the organization's hierarchy and team size. And then that tech guy used to give some output to the mediator guy in between, and then that guy used to take it to the decision maker. So it's a long cycle, right? I'm asking a question to somebody, then that is taking to somebody, that guy is resolving the problem and coming back to me. Okay, then if let's say I'm not satisfied with the data, I have a follow-up question, I'll have to go through this process again, right? So to get the final result, this might take days, depending on the size and your organization hierarchy. But with the Turn AI, you can simply ask a question as you ask to ChatGPT about a random thing. Okay. But in Turn AI, this is specific to your data. It's not a general knowledge thing. It's not just a ChatGPT to get your email rephrased, but something which you can utilize in your decision making. All right. So that is what it does. And from a decision maker point of view, if I say, if I have a curiosity in my mind that, oh, if this offering, like I just gave you some examples, that if I just want to analyze my offering, or uh, my sales, my campaigns and everything, I'll have to go through the loop. But instead, if I have that on my hand, if I have that on my mobile, I can simply ask that question and get my answer in on my palm within like seconds. Okay. So that will expedite the process of decision making. That will make a really huge impact on the revenue, if I say. So yes, that is one thing. Also, what do you mean by scheduling? Scheduling is basically, if let's say if there is something I want to look at my data, a specific data, how my campaign is doing every day, or comparative data, like which you guys usually see in Google Analytics or any other dashboard. So you guys can like just schedule it and get it delivered in your email in a formatted let's say JPEG or any other HTML format or anything, which you can take a look at first thing in the morning and go ahead with your day with a very data backed decisions you can take. So yes, so it basically cache all of these data sets and models for reuse. So it basically pass the context, prepare some knowledge, take some notes behind the scenes, and utilize that. So that was about the Terno AI. Now, how we are utilizing LLM agents to perform these tasks. So Terno uses LLM agents to perform complex multi-step tasks with more autonomy and planning than a basic LLM. So as I explained earlier also, that it's not just a basic LLM. What Terno does is that if I am asking a question related to my data to Terno AI, one thing is that it generates a simple statement based on the type of data source. Let's say if my data is in my SQL, or I am asking a question, a simple thing is text to SQL, right? But it is not limited to just text to SQL, that it generates a SQL. There are n number of things which can go wrong with the SQL, that the SQL generated might be wrong. The SQL generated might not work on the type of data which I want to query. That type of SQL, or that particular SQL might not work for my data. That might not give any result, or maybe with the limited information I have as a decision maker of the company is not enough to get the result which I'm expecting, right? So that can also be the case. So how to match the expectation, how to close the gap between the reality and the expectation. So my expectation from a decision maker point of view, that if I'm asking a very simple question, how was my campaign doing from the past 7 days, then I should get the result that, okay, this is how your campaign is doing, right? Instead, if it gives let's say bad SQL, which have some errors, then it doesn't make sense that I ask again, I frame the question again. So here, how we are solving it, we are basically dividing it into multiple steps. So it performs a steps. I will showcase that you in the demo also as well. And so what happens here, that it divides the whole process into multiple steps. That, okay, first we have to do, what we have to do is that we have to figure out all of the data source, from what database this guy is asking, right? So after figuring that out, I will create sorry, Terno will create a SQL statement or a task, a Python code, which basically helps to generate the expected result. But what if doesn't? If what if doesn't, it automatically match that expectations with the question. And if there is a gap in between, it basically reiterates till it reaches that expectation, till it meets that expectation of the user. So it keeps on reiterating again and again, again and again, till it come up with the final good result. which is like absolute correct result. I will showcase you with some of the queries I executed in the demo towards the end of the this webinar, that how it performed that multi-step process. Okay. So yeah, it's the same thing that it works like an agent, and it basically divides all of the things into multiple logical steps. And in between those steps, it basically debugs and retry. Let's say if there is a bug, a particular statement did not run, or maybe a particular thing which I'm asking to generate, and LLM gives some other output. Okay, if I'm asking, let's say for a image, but LLM understood it for, let's say, CSV or anything, or maybe some other result. I'm asking for some table, LLM generate took it for some other table, something like that happens, because LLM hallucinations are real. It's not something, it's not fake. Hallucinations are real. So if that happens, so what would I do? I would prompt the LLM again, right? So that basically Terno do it on its own. It would keep on retrying till it resolve all of the bugs, till it uh, find the final answer, which is good for the user. Okay, so that is what. And based on the task, the agent also delivers the result as chart, tables, text, PDF, whatever you can ask any type of media to be generated, even the HTML page you can generate. Okay, from the Terno. So now we'll go ahead with the Terno AI architecture. And Sandeep Akode, being the CTO of Terno AI and leading the technology, he would take you guys through the architecture of Terno. Over to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I will share the screen now.
Yeah, sure. I've allowed. I've stopped sharing my screen.
Yes. You can see, right?
Yes, yes. I can
Right.
see. Yeah, I can see the presentation, not the slideshow. Yeah, now I can see the slideshow.
Yeah. So we will tell you about the architecture which is powering Terno AI and its agent. So we have developed these agents because a simple LLM cannot answer complex queries. And there are many things that needs to be done sequentially, or you can say parallelly. So to answer any query, as a data scientist, you won't just do a single task for one query, right? Suppose you have to generate some report on something. So you will gather some data. You might write some SQL or Python code to get some insight from that data, and based on that, you might generate some PDF, right? So for that, you need an agent which will be able to do all these tasks sequentially. Okay, so for that, we have this Terno AS architecture, which will be able to, which handles all these tasks, and it is an AI agent. Okay, so we will see the components of it. So the first of it is the meta store. Okay, so meta store is the one of the most important part of Terno AI, because so every organization has their data in multiple sources. So first of that is the database. So whenever you connect your database to Terno AI, we securely fetch the data like the column name, table name, foreign key, and other data from the database and store it in the meta store. It store all the metadata. What metadata means is that it can be the table name or of the tables, column names. Also, the cardinality, which means the unique values from your one particular column, and the row count, and average, and multiple other things, because they are useful in the at the later stage for the agent to answer your query. Okay, so that's why we whenever you add the database, we just fetch all this information and store it in the meta store so that we can answer your query better. This is first part of it for the meta store, and you can modify all that knowledge uh, uh, using the interface which you have given. Okay, and and okay, so in the meta store, so this meta store will also auto update based on the knowledge, if there are some updates in your actual database, the meta store will update itself so that it can based on the new objects. Okay, basically, right, right, yeah. So this is the metas. Yeah. So the next component is SQL Shield. So this is where the security aspect of Terno comes in. Okay. And since we are connecting the database to our Terno AI, security is the most essential part of it. So SQL Shield is something which protects us from running any kind of harmful queries on our database. So like there are many things that can go wrong when you are like running any SQL on the database. I will discuss that in detail also. But for now, this is the part of it. The SQL Shield is part of it. Suppose the LLM generates the query like delete all the rows from the table, one particular table. So the SQL Shield will stop you from executing that harmful query. And there are many other cases. We also have someone from the who is interested in cyber security. Maybe they know what are the dangers of it. Okay. Yeah. So the next is the semantic layer. So for semantic layer, I will ask Rohan Das to uh, discuss this because he can tell you in a good way. Yeah, Rohan, can you please continue this part?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Sachin, for this detailed explanation of the Terno and the architecture. Let's move on to the semantic layer. Okay, so the traditional databases do not have the semantic layer. What does the semantic layer means? It means that when you search upon a database, it will just use the traditionally it will just use the matching of exact words. Okay, if let's say you are in a e-commerce organization and you are trying to search of a product, let's say it's being a jeans. Okay, if you are searching that, select star from this table. Okay, select star from products where the name is blue jeans. Okay, so what traditionally the databases will fetch is a blue jeans. It will extract exactly match the words. Okay, but here in Terno we are implementing a semantic layer which will also fetch the products which semantically means, or the similar meaning of blue jeans. Let's say it's being a navy denim. Okay, or blue bottom covering, something like that. So it will all understand the meaning of what you are trying to say, and it will retrieve all of those using semantic layer. In semantic layer we are getting the user's query, we are understanding it, and using the LLM agent we are trying to retrieve or write a SQL that will perfectly fit all of these things in the context of your data. So yeah, this is about semantic layer, and I will ask Akode to move on with the architecture.
Yeah, thanks, Rohan. So semantic layer is a very powerful part of Turno AI because like the data in database can be very vague. So sometimes if we are searching for something, so as a data some data scientist might know about it. He may already know about the database, so he knows what to query. But suppose we are looking for some kind of jeans only. Okay, so jeans, and we are also looking for pants, but the actual words inside the database might be different. It might also have a typo or something else. So semantic layer is able to match that based on the semantic of your query. Okay. So internally it uses retrieval assisted generation. Okay, or RAG. Okay, for or embeddings for searching the correct what you say uh, the tables and columns from that. Okay, the correct data from the database. All right. Hmm. Yeah. So the artifact store. So what is artifact store? So as a data scientist, you will also be generating models, AI ML models. Okay. You might also be generating some kind of images and CSVs and many other things. Okay. So artifact store is used to store all this data, and which we can use later at some later point for our next query. So suppose I created a ML model and I train it for some iterations, and I can store it in the artifact store. And then in another query, I can continue that machine learning process in later also. So artifact store is used for that purpose. You can store any kind of data here actually. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it is also reusable, so that if you generate some ML model, other teammates can also use it. You can share it between your inside your organization. Yeah. So the next thing is enterprise tooling augmentation. So what does it mean? It means that as an enterprise, you might have some custom tools which you use internally. It can be like sending emails after you have generated some report or something. And it can also mean that you want to call some internal APIs. You want to schedule some jobs which will be run periodically. So if you want to run some kind of create some kind of dashboard and want to fetch the data periodically. So for that you can schedule a job which will periodically like run the query and give you that data. Okay, so you can connect custom tools to this agent using enterprise tooling augmentation. Multi-database support. So we support all the major SQL type databases like MySQL and SQLite, BigQuery, and others also Postgres. And we also have support for ERPs like Odoo. Okay, we have good support of that. You can try it out on Terno AI. And it works with any LLM. So we know that right now there are many open source and good open source LLM available like DeepSeek and others. So you can also connect your LLM to Terno AI so that you are sure that you only want to send your data to a particular your own LLM. You can also do that for security. Okay. So we will head to demo of Terno AI. So Sachin, you can go ahead with this. And if you have any questions, we will also answer that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
If you want to also see examples of how the SQL Shield component provides security from harmful queries and other things, I can also show that in some time if you want.
yeah. So with that said, thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Rohan, for explaining the architecture very well. So I'll just wait for some questions. So if you guys have any questions related to the architecture, you guys can proceed with that. Then I would proceed with the demo. So let me know if I should proceed with the demo or you have some questions. How much support is present for cleaning the messy data tables? Any tool is only as good as the quality of data tables it's connected to. Does Terno help with creating more source of truth tables? Okay. So I believe when it comes to cleaning the messy data tables, Nitin, so you mean that the tables which doesn't have any data, or let's say the tables which have which were created in the early development of any app or any software which we are not using, or the tables which is not relevant to the particular query, right? So I would showcase that in the demo, how we are preparing the meta store, how our meta store looks like. So what happens is that two things takes care of that. Okay, one thing is the meta store, that when a data source is connected to the Terno, so our meta store takes care of that using the table descriptions. Okay, we have something called, we will generate the descriptions automatically based on the table name and based on the knowledge provided by the some of the tribal knowledge, or maybe some of the if people are okay with that, then some of the data from those tables. Okay, so it basically comes with a consent, obviously, and the agent takes care of that part. If the data is not present in those tables, so the agent would not consider those tables. And when a follow-up question would come again related to those tables, then it is already cached that those tables are not were not able to give the desired result. So the agent would not give query would not try to query those tables. So that is how we are avoiding querying messy tables or the obsolete tables. I hope I was able to understand the question correct.
I would like to add something to that.
Mm.
So, because Terno AI is an agent, so it will iteratively try to answer your query. So, if there is some messy data, it will first try to figure out what is the data in one table and table number two and table number three. It will try to understand the data, and based on that, it will figure out which table to select. And because it also has a chat interface, you can also interact with it to tell it that this about you can talk in details about the actual data present in that particular table. So it will uh, try again and again to solve your query till it reaches the final answer.
All right. Yeah. So that is one thing. Yeah. So I will just share my screen and start with the demo. I think most of the questions would be answered there. So one question is that what open source LLM you guys use to build Terno AI? So Terno AI is not LLM centric at all. So the thing is that you can utilize any LLM to uh, utilize Terno. All right. I would just show how it is done. Okay. So I would like to log out first. Hmm. Cool. So let me just, I hope my screen or demo screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation. Let me just open the chat also to look at it. Just give me a moment. Okay, so what I have to do is I will log into the platform. Okay, and this is the screen after logging in, I would see. So how you guys can reach here is that you just have to request us for the uh, access. Right now, it is like we have opened it for the limited access, and you guys will have to do it. What you have to do is just go to the Terno.ai website, and there is a form to request the access. You just have to click on this request access and fill up this form and just some requests for the demo. Okay. And then you guys would be able to utilize this. All right. Let's come back to the demo. So this is how the UI of Turno AI looks like. Okay. Now, how come I reached to this UI is another question. So you can see that I have two data sources already present in my organization, or let's say my account. But how did I add this organization, this data? All right. So I added this using the uh, add data source button, which basically takes me to this form where I will choose a data source name, anything. I'll choose the type of data source. So right now here it shows that Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, BigQuery, but you can also upload a file from here. Okay, and you can utilize, let's say we are working on the connectors. You guys would be able to utilize other platforms as well. For example, Google Analytics or any other ERP and CRM tool, whatever it is. And if you are from any enterprise which have their custom data source or anything, so it's an enterprise solution which basically can work with us, and we guys can work on it to accommodate that data source. So you have to just paste your connection string here. I think somebody asked a question that how this I think somebody asked a question earlier, basically how to add the data source and everything. So I'll show you one of my existing data source. So there is the data source called global data. Okay. And for that, my connection string here it is not visible as of now because I have made it private because I'll have to share the screen anyways. So you guys can just add your connection string and get a start with it. How to create a connection string is basically as simple as that your username and password of the data source. So somebody I think asked for related to the authentication. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to give the access of the schema. We do not store the data or your data in our uh, database, but yes, we do store your schema. So you have to give the access of the schema, basically the metadata of it. And once you are done adding that, okay, so it fetches all of the tables, columns, etc. and prepare a metadata. You can see that for the global data source, I can see that these are the tables, name and public name. Now, what exactly is name and public name? So now you can see that it is same, right? But sometimes what happens in production, the tables are very different than the normal table names. A table might be present with the name of, let's say, INR detail, USD details, something like that. So this is basically I'm taking an example of our data source of CloudX Lab. I would be very honest with like I don't know like if I should speak it or not. That let's say if we are taking payments in multiple data sources, so we are creating any random name, we are keeping any internal let's name for our tables, and LLM won't be able to understand that. So you will have to read you here at Terno metadata. We are giving we are giving an option to edit that public name. So this public name is what we are passing to the LLM. So that is first step of security which we are taking. Even if let's say, though we basically ask user to generate a credentials which are read only, to generate a credential of your data source which are read only, so that nobody can write to your data. But again, we do not allow a write to your data source. We basically our SQL Shield basically takes care of that. Even if let's say by mistake you have added a data source which have like the write access to your data source, don't worry, we basically takes care of that. Okay, so how a table form looks like. So here you can see the name, which this is the actual name, which basically is utilized while querying your data. Okay, this is the public name which is passed to the LLM, and we basically translate that. So there is a translator we have in the SQL Shield, which basically takes the public name and convert it into the name, and takes the name, convert it into the public name whenever required by the use case. Okay. Now, description is the other thing which basically helps. So I think Nitin's question was that how to clean the messy tables, right? So you can see that there is a checkbox which basically denotes that if the description is generated or not. Okay. So what is description here? Let's say I have multiple tables. I'm using a default ORM, let's say Django's or something else. So and I have multiple tables. Let's say I have a table with name, email address. Then I have table with name, users, which also again have email address. Now LLM is confused, like if I'm asking for the email address, so what table to query, right? So that is where the table description is used. Let's say there was a table in CloudX Lab for which I used the table description, that this table contains email address and these are already available. This is a redundant table and all. So I use the description to help LLM to avoid the confusion. So this is what Terno does for you. Now, generating this description is a two-step thing that either I can add because I know about this table. This is my data, I know about it, right? But if let's say there are 10,000 tables, or let's say there are 5,000 tables, 1,000 tables, how can I, like, it's not possible for me to do it for every table, right? I can provide a summary of all of the things, and Terno AI will take that summary and generates the description and add it to each table. Not only tables, I will show you, it adds to the columns also. So we have table columns. All right. So you can see that the same form is followed in the column also, that we have a description. Okay. So Terno AI, how basically it helps in the meta store is that it generates the description for the optimization. Okay. And it also keeps a version of it, let's say description updated at time, so that if let's say you are updating that from the admin manually, if let's say it was generated wrong by Terno AI by any chance, so you can update it manually. So Terno AI have all of the controls over your meta, but you also have some control, and you can anytime overpower Terno AI to work your way. Okay. So that is one thing. That was one thing about the meta store. Now I'll quickly jump towards the questions. Okay. Towards the questions. So I have some questions ready with me. Ready as in that it's not just like basically I was just trying this. So this Odoo demo is one of the data source, and you can see that there are like more than 500 tables available. So this is a demo database. Odoo is basically an open source ERP platform. So we took their like open source version and publicized that with the default demo database and some of our data. So let me ask a question to the Turner related to that. So I am asking question that collect data for the expected versus actual sales for each salesperson and also their contribution to the total actual sales from the CRM lead. This table. Show me a leaderboard, blah blah blah, and use Odoo as a data source. So here I would just rename it to use demo as a data source to limit Turno to look only in the Odoo and not the global data. Usually a company has like one data you utilize one data source at a time, but Turno what it does, it basically queries along the data source, along multiple data sources. If let's say your company is using multiple databases and you want to ask a question which basically depends on multiple databases, or let's say different or let's say tables of different data sources, then Turno is able to do that. So this is how, so basically when we discussed about it, this thing, what it was, retries. Okay. So it remembers these two steps, that it supports self-driven debugs and remembers the previous step and context. So I'm executing this on a fresh user account, which doesn't have anything cached. And I'll show you like how it solves the bugs, right? So it basically first identified the data source, generated a code for that, then observe it. Okay, it's basically there are two data sources present. Okay, then again it generated the code to inspect it, then again observed, then again generated code, then again observed. Okay, now executed a SQL query and generated something. See, so it has multiple steps, and it again and again generates the code, test it and observe it. Okay. So now the thought has changed to calculate each person's contributions, and is trying to generate, and I think it's generated the sales leaderboard.csv. Okay, let's see what it generated. So yeah, I hope my screen, this pie charts are visible. Can anybody just type in the chart? I'm not really sure if I have shared entire screen or what. Okay, okay, it is visible. I think Sandeep Akode said that it is visible. Jitendra, I hope it is visible to you also. The output image, the bar chart.
Actually, it's not visible.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me let me try to open it in the. Let me try to share the screen again. Okay, I'll share my entire screen. I hope it is visible now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Just a moment. Actually, in Zoom, when I share entire screen, so it keeps on giving me some random pop-ups. So yeah, now you can see that it generated, because I asked Terno to generate and save it in the PNG format. So it generated and saved it in the PNG format and came with a whole visualization of it, right? So you can see that there are 5 salesperson. It fetches like Michael admin, Terno. So basically, Terno is my demo account. I'm a salesperson in their demo database. So Mark demo, John Doe, and all, and number of deals they have cracked so far, and actual sales. So deals count by salesperson, actual sales by salesperson, then contribution and all. So here I think there is some mistake. I think this needs to be corrected. Like
No,
why?
actually, the two salesperson which do not contribute, they are having 0% of contribution.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. John Doe, and Joel Wells. So that is one of the output, and other output it generated is in the CSV also. So I'll try to open the CSV. Yeah. So you can see that it gave me the number in the CSV also. I hope this screen is visible now. The numbers one.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
The stream has not. Okay. 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 Cool. Great. So any questions on that? And so we have showcased you one of by executing one of the queries, and I'll again go through it, like what exactly it did. It basically, so basically we call it like the agentic workflow, that it came up with a thought, okay, let's do this, and executed that. And then again, it again observed it, then again came with another thought and executed that. So far, yeah, so far there was, see, there was some bug here in this observation. So there was some bug that there was some syntax error in the code. So it automatically fixes that. It automatically fixes that and executed the correct code, right? Executed the correct code and gave us the result. So that is what Terno does for you. You do not have to keep on asking it again and again, again and again, to fix this, fix that. There was this error in the previous response. I tried to execute that. No, it tried to execute automatically and came up with the result. And then again execute, again generates the new code, fresh code, and execute that. Right. I hope like every one of you who are attending this webinar have used LLM at some point of time. And and given that given that you LLM as in the chat GPT, sorry, so you might have like used chat GPT at some point of time, and you know that, let's say if you are using it to code and you take a particular code and execute that in your code base, and if it fails, you paste that error again in the chat GPT. So all of these things you do not have to do here with the Terno AI. It basically resolves the bug and give you the final answer automatically. So that is one thing. Now I'll spend some time making you understand more about the meta store, the architecture, and the things behind it. So a lot of people ask a very simple question, uh, like one question again and again, that what LLM are you using? So we are not LLM centric. So here you can see that in the LLM configuration, you guys can choose any of the LLM, like OpenAI, be it Gemini, whatever, or even your custom LLM, and just give us the key, and we would be able to like Terno will use your LLM to for that. Okay, you guys can give some advanced configuration for that, like what LLM model you want to use and all. So for the demo purpose, we are giving everyone $10 of GPT-4o, like which is our default LLM, which we are using right now. Of is like OpenAI's GPT-4o, and we are giving like $10 of Terno credits to utilize and try on this. You guys can fill up the form on the website for to access the request. Okay. Okay. Cool. So that is one thing. Another thing is, so I have showcased you the data source. I've showed data source suggestion. So what exactly is data source suggestions? So this is basically for the queries which are usually asked for your data source. Okay. So suggesting Turno basically takes care of that and suggests like, okay, what you guys can do with this particular data source. These are the foreign key mappings from your data source. All right. Now, now I would showcase you something which is which so there was somebody who was discussing about the security earlier. I think Satya. Yeah. So Satya, how we are basically taking care of the privacy and security here. All right. So the first thing which basically came to our mind is that if we are sending the meta store to the LLM, we need to have a shield in between, right? So one thing which basically came to mind is that private table and private column. So there are few things which you do not want to, which you do not want to send to LLM. For example, your password column, or let's say any specific user column which you do not want to share to LLM, right? So one thing is sharing with LLM, another thing is sharing across your teams. All right. So let's say if let's say there are 5 team in your organization, it is not true that every team has the same access on the data, right? So how do you control that? So to control that, one thing is to control, first I'll go through like how to make it private for the LLM, is that you go to this table, private table selector, you choose a data source, for example, Odoo demo. And if let's say I maybe sale order, okay, if I make this table private, Terno would throw error. Terno won't be able to utilize, sorry, the LLM won't be able to utilize this table. Terno won't send this table to LLM. Okay, let's just test it out. So I think this was the table which was used, sale order. Okay, if I would ask this question again to the Terno, what would happen? I have made it private. Okay, I've made it private. Also, sometimes it takes two because we cache the whole thing. So might be the case that right now it gives me the answer, and you guys might think that okay, it is working, but that might be just the cache.
In the observation, Sachin, go up.
Sorry.
In the
Uh,
last, at the end, you can see that
see,
you do not access. Yeah.
yeah, I was looking for this only. You do not have access to the table sales order. So LLM basically returned the error that I do not have access to the sales order. I cannot execute this query, right? So that is how you make the tables private in your this thing. What do I say? From the LLM, you'll have to make that private. Similarly, you can do the same for the columns also. That if let's say in the user table you want to hide the passwords, right? There might be some table called password, right? So password is one thing which nobody would like to expose to the LLMs. So things like that, passport, IDs, something like that, right? So this is how you can make things private from the LLM. Now, what about the team members? Let's say being the admin, if let's say I'm the admin, I should have access to the user's phone number, but my whole team should not have access to the user's phone number, right? They should not be able to leak that data or maybe utilize that data, right? So there are some compliance which everyone signs that okay, this that is how we are taking care of your personal information. So how do we do that? We go to a, a settings called group table selector, okay, and we create a group. Let's say I create a group call call called uh, uh, HR team or something like that. Okay, so I created a group called HR team, and the HR team. Okay. So first I have to go to the first I will have to go to the private table selector, I guess. Okay. Hmm. So let's say phone phone blacklist save group table selector. Yeah. So let's say now how this works is basically you have made a table private, that okay, this table is private to me. So now uh, if let's say I want to give access to a particular team, that okay, HR team should have access to the people's phone, otherwise they won't be able to like get that phone number and call them and all. So from here I can give them access. Okay, so that is how it works. So it is basically hidden from everyone else except the HR team. So now the phone number is protected from everyone except the HR team member if they are querying. Okay, so that is how it works. Similarly, row filters. Row filter is something which we basically, it's a really good thing that let's say let's say we have some table which have like columns. One columns store the company's name or organization ID, and the other tables store their email ID. So let's say if I am I'm working in an organization which has multiple teams within, and the people have this thing like organization ID, or like say the team ID and their teammates ID. So like all of the data is present in the same table. But what I want is that the team leader, a particular team leader, should be able to query only the data of their team. So that is where the table row filters comes into play and help us to protect the rest of the rows from that particular team members. Let's say we all three, me, Sandeep Akode and Rohan, have different teams. So my team's data, Sandeep Akode should not be able to query my team's rows. Okay, in the result, when I query that, okay, show me details of all of the teammates or all of the employees of the company, it should exclude everyone else's contact details. So that is where this row filter comes into play. Let's say I choose again the phone number if I choose or anything as group user resolution, whatever it is. So for this particular group, I would pass a string, let's say where let's say there is a column called team ID. So if I do this, okay, if I save this, so wherever the team ID's value would be one, it only would showcase those results and not the whole. So we have tried this for the Chinook databases. For example, where title is this, if you have tried it with the string, so it would only showcase me the result, which basically exclude all of these things. So yeah, so these are n number of like we have multiple filters available to protect your data. We have like a group column selector, so you can protect your columns, you can protect your tables, you can also protect your rows. So in conclusion, you can protect your data at any level. Be be it data source, be it the whole data source, be it the whole table, be it columns, be it rows, from the LLMs also and from the users also. So that is how we are protecting our data from the from our meta store. Okay. Now I would like to show some more queries answered by the Terno. Right. I think so. Yeah. All of the people are interested in some more queries. Let me. Any questions we have so far? I would like to take a break for some questions. Anyone? Satya, Jitendra? I think people are already tired. Okay, okay. So I'll share my screen again. And okay. So that was one thing. I'll showcase some more. Let me execute a query on the uh, global data. Okay. Let me ask Terno. Let me ask Terno. How has global inequality changed over decades in global data? Okay. So it's thinking. So it identified the global data source. A pura plan, like it has the whole plan that, okay, I'll list it. I'll list the tables, inspect the columns, query country level Guinea and everything. So it is going by step by step. So that is how human data scientists work, right? They basically create a plan first and then move ahead with that. Sorry. So here you can see. So average country level Gini coefficient by decade they have generated. So our question was that global inequality changed over decades, right? So it generated the result from the Gini coefficient table, right? And it basically displayed the whole result in a very beautiful manner. Earlier it was giving us like to download it, but here it basically showed us the result in a very beautiful manner. So So that is how Turno works. And let me showcase you some more queries if I have on these data source. And you can ask any complex query if you want. if you guys want to have some of your query to be answered on this global data or anything, but because right now the thing is that you guys might want to. So the global data looks like this as of now. This is small, but it have a lot of data. So if you guys have any question related to this, you guys can just paste it in the chat and I can ask. It's not limited to my set of questions. Okay. So again, it created the whole plan and it started with the available data sources. I'm still observing. Hmm. It generated the literacy.csv. All right. It's my how to show this CSV. Yeah. So you can see that we asked unknown that what does the relationship between GDP per capita literacy rate look like across the country over the time, and it was able to generate. Yeah. I hope this CSV is visible. Yeah. Satya raised the hand. Yeah. Yeah, Satya. I think you are allowed to speak. You have any question? Sorry. So, so yeah, that was it about today, and we are like good with the questions. Let me present this. Just a second. Just give me a moment. Which is, right.
I'm sorry, this is Satya here again.
Yeah, yeah.
Sachin, thanks a lot for your explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
just wanted to know that is it only for data science area, data analysis and data science area, or is the tool capable of doing something else also?
Something else as in like you have
I
any
mean, more capabilities.
uh more capabilities. See, so basically it's an enterprise tool, enterprise grade, like enterprise level tool to have something on your data particularly. Okay. So you guys can like have your workflows around it. You guys can get your customized agent from us. You guys can like have your what do you call well, anything about the data. You won't be able to let's say make a UI design out of it, or a Figma design out of it. So you won't be able to do that. Well, I'm not able to imagine like what is the use case in your mind.
And one concern is now if I'm putting a data set, like you analyzed, you're putting tables and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm analyzing, I'm sending the data set, Excel file or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
to your server, correct?
Yes, yes.
So what is the security concern or the
So
sensitive data going there on the security perspective?
these okay, okay. So from the security point of view, we are we are isolating your data. We are isolating your data in a particular container, and it is purely like it is secure, and we would basically like we will have all of these things in place that your data is not shared with anyone except the LLM configured by you. Now, what data is shared with LLM is only your metadata. Is basically your table name and column names, and like any metadata about your schema. That is what is shared with the LLM. And I think only that much data is required by the LLM to do the analysis. And how we are protecting that from the LLM is that LLM won't be able to write to your database all of the names. Let's say, even if, let's say, you want, you say that my table name should not be shared with the LLM, and make LLM to generate even without telling my actual names. So I just showed you that thing right in the admin that you guys can have your public name for that. So what we do for that is that, let's say, when we added our production ready CloudX Lab data source to the Terno, so what we did is that we generated some plain English names. For example, if, let's say, there is a table name called res underscore sale. Okay. Now what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. That is our internal name. That is our internal data source name. But res underscore sale, what does that column do can be defined in the description, and you can also rename this table to something else which basically LLM can understand in a plain English. Let's say res underscore sale says that retailers sale order. There is a table called retailer sale order, and the internal name is res underscore sale underscore od. Now LLM would give a lot of errors in this, that what is od, what is res. LLM won't be able to understand. Now, from the security and performance both point of view, only the same thing solves both of the problems: security also and performance, sorry, accuracy also. Okay, that you are giving a public name, that basically resolve the security point of from the security point of view, it basically hides your public name, your public schema from the LLM, and uh, like it would be able to generate the a better SQL for you.
Yeah, thanks, Sachin.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Mhm.
one more question is if we want to run some some vulnerability assessment or some sort of a pen test or something, we want to run it. Are there any modules available like within that container or pod or whatever you explained just now? Maybe I
Mhm.
can run something like that. If we can run a short procedure on that, just wanted to know.
Okay, okay. So for that, like if you in the free trial, we are not giving access to that. But let's say you have it on if you want it in your place. So what we do is that we can set up it in your place. So the thing is that some of the data, okay, the thing is, uh, like going back to your previous question, sorry for that, but your data is shared with Terno, with us, your metadata, right? Now we are sharing some of the data with the LLM, which is required to generate the result, right? Now, how you can protect the data from us, that you can host Terno at your place. So we can give the access, or let's say in your server, in your database, everything will be stored in at your place. We won't be having any access for that, right? One thing is that. Now again, to run all of these tests, sorry, but we won't be able to give it in our shared instance, right? Because it is used by other people's also. So we won't be able to give that. But yes, we will think about something uh, to make it more trustable out of the box so that people can trust it uh, more proficiently. We would have all of these test cases and all of these test results displayed on the website. Yes, and if you want to run this, I think you guys can you can just request for the self-hosted one, and you can host one. We can host one at your place, and we can go ahead with that.
Okay, but there is no inbuilt module or something, right? So we have to run them externally only.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, wrapped. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So John is asking how much of a data scientist job will be done by AI. So this is a very vast question. So mhm. I think, see, it's not if you are thinking from that point of view, that if it is a threat to the data scientist job, it is not. Okay. Because data scientists have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of other things also to execute apart from this, right? And it is like a tool to to complement their profession, that they would be able to utilize this tool for their own thing also.
So
Yes.
Sachin, so Terno won't be able to talk to your manager on your behalf, right?
Yeah. So
So yeah, so Terno will be able to do most of the tasks that the data scientist can do, but it will augment you. Okay, so the task which will take you around 2 3 hours to do it yourself, Terno will be able to do it in few minutes only.
yeah. So that is one thing. Is it to have more control of user data? So what type of user data, Rob, you are talking about? I have, I think, permitted if you want to speak about it. And unmute. Own user data. So no, we do not have any control over your data as such, but only the metadata of your data source. And we do not have control like to modify it. We just want to read it to generate the response, right? So it's not like I'm having control on your data. Your data is completely managed by your services. It is just used for the analytics and predictive analytics. What a data scientist does. A data scientist does not modify your data, right? A data scientist utilize your existing data to generate something meaningful or reasonable to take the decisions. So I think in terms of that, that is my response. If I missed anything, you guys can just unmute and ask him. I hope I was able to answer. So yeah, that was it. And I would request you guys to go to the website turno.ai and fill up the form. And as of now, like we have this limited access thing, so we would obviously look at your request and how you want to utilize Turno as a fair usage. And we have like this $10 of Turno credits available for free, and $10 worth credits are like enough to do a lot of things. I think so far I was not able to spend like more than $10 in past more than a month. So yeah, so that is one thing. One thing. Anyways, yeah. So I think that was it from my side. Anything from your side, Sandeep, Akrode, and Rohan? All right. So I will stop the webinar here. I think that was it. Thank you, Satya, for your question. Thank you, everyone else, for joining. So, Satya, have raised the hand. Yeah, Satya.
No, it was the previous.
Okay. So,
It's fine. I mean, I think I got it.
mhm.
Uh, it's a more in like, to test it and, check it out.
Yeah, sure. We have received your request. I will ask my team mate to check into that
Okay. Thank you.
working day. So, yeah. So, cool then. I would end the webinar now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good night if you are in IST, and have a good day, whatever time zone you are in. So, bye bye.
Bye. Good
Thank you,
night.
Sandeep
Thank you.
Akote. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, Satya.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.